Ladies and gentlemen, good evening and welcome to the opera. We are delighted to have you here on the second night of Horror Week. We have gone through the gamut of female stereotypes here at the opera, as one does. We're just doing it much faster. The first week we had Goddess Week, then we moved on to Virgin Week, then we had Mother Week. The costume was a bit uncomfortable, and we did give birth at the end of the week, ladies and gentlemen. If you missed that, it's too bad. And now we've got Goddess Week, and it's really suiting us just fine. The costume is a lot more fun. We had hoped, ladies and gentlemen, that we would lose a few pounds before Horror Week would begin, but that was not the case. But you know what? It doesn't matter what you look like. You have to work it. And so that's what we're doing here at the opera. Now, the opera that you're going to see tonight is called Vanessa. It is by Samuel Barber, who you might know as the guy who wrote Adagio for Strings. And you would be correct. He also wrote other things, such as this opera, which is, as you would expect, chock full of sentimental schlock. However, it is also a desperately creepy story, which I'm sure you will enjoy. The story is about, let's just see, there's so much wrong with the story. It begins with a family, a grandmother, who isn't speaking to her daughter. Oh, actually, I just heard that our intendant is coming over live via satellite, so let's just welcome her, and then I'll get back to the fascinating story of Vanessa. I think, yeah, there she is. Hello, Professor Dr. Helga Hopsasa. How are you this evening? I'm very well, thank you so much. So I was just telling the audience a little bit about what we're going to see tonight, the opera Vanessa, which is from an American composer. I know that our audiences are not that fond of American composers. They find it quite stupid and puerile, and we agree. However, we are trying to inform everybody. Yes, I find it my mission to expose audiences to as many different genres and different types of operatic literature as possible. Barber being no exception. He's written this opera for no clear reason, but it is there, and okay, great, so thanks for that. I know you've got to hop, skip, and jump away to wherever, and so I'm just gonna take over from here, thanks. Dear audience, we are going to start in a few minutes. I see everyone hurriedly rushing to their seats. So I'm going to leave you with a little clip of all the desperate goings-on backstage, all the busy little bees moving things around and preparing for this extravaganza of an opera that we have prepared for you tonight. So just enjoy your little sneak peek into people working while you relax and sip some champagne. Right, so oddly enough, there's always a tenor backstage. We don't know why there is no tenor in tonight's opera, but he is constantly obsessing over his high notes and trying to find his voice. We just let him do whatever. He's not bothering anybody. He's just vocalizing nonstop, and that's okay with us. We're all inclusive here at the opera. So the opera, Vanessa, starts with a very fucked up family. You've got the grandmother who isn't speaking to her grown daughter, who happens to be an extremely beautiful woman, who has got some kind of obsession with this guy Anatole, who was her lover about 20 years ago. Then you have her niece, Erica, who is about 20 years old. No explanations there. However, they are all extremely creepy with each other. The mother and the grandmother aren't speaking. They don't really get out much. Everyone seems to be quite mentally ill in this household. And there's also a doctor who drinks a lot. He's an alcoholic. And he is always hanging out there. He's obviously got a hard-on for one or both or all three of the women in the household, who, by the way, are extremely rich. Yeah, but nothing develops there either. It's all very fascinating. So the opera begins with Vanessa and her mother and her niece waiting impatiently, on Vanessa's part, for Anatole to finally show up after 20 years. He's like inexplicably not been there, but now he's going to come. And everyone's very excited with anticipation there. And we'll see how wonderfully that all turns out. Anatole, shockingly, looks the same as he did when he was 20 years older. Why? Oh, well, because it's not Anatole, it's his son. But Vanessa doesn't want to know that. She believes that it is actually Anatole. And Erica, meanwhile, so Erica and Vanessa, no wait, so Anatole sleeps with Erica the first night there that he's back impersonating his father, whose lover was Vanessa, who is upset because she's always upset. So he sleeps with Erica, and then Erica gets pregnant, and then the grandmother suddenly isn't speaking with either of them. You can draw your own conclusions. I will draw a big one for you. Actually, it's all about incest, ladies and gentlemen. It's a big incestuous affair. It's not actually in the libretto, but there are some clues, and I think we can make that big assumption right now. And I'll just guide you through that. There are some points here and there where we can draw the conclusions together. So anyway, that's Vanessa. I hope that you enjoy it. There are lots of mezzos in this production, which is great because I don't really feel like singing high notes today. And there are some arias, but not too many, so enjoy. Right?
Yeah.
I think the audience is now sufficiently sexually charged. And yeah, I think that's all I had to do. And I suppose we can begin. Brian, I think Horror Week is lots of fun.
Me too.
Do you really think that, Brian? Brian?
Yeah.
Are you ready for the first act?
Absolutely.
1, 2. Well, ladies and gentlemen, it's the first act of Vanessa, and it's a house somewhere where Americans like to picture themselves if they were actually royals. No American is a royal, so we can assume that it's a British house somewhere populated by Americans. It's the best thing they can come up with. And we've got a grandmother. She's quite old. She's definitely over 35. And we have Vanessa. She's quite a bitch. She's a very narcissistic personality. Everything is about Vanessa. And she's quite histrionic as well. But nobody ever says anything. I mean, they have enough money. They can just keep her away from everybody. And that seems to work. And that's her niece, Erica. She's also a mezzo. And they're just hanging out. Erica is kind of a wallflower. Vanessa, histrionic princess, grandmother, not speaking. We don't know why. Could it be because of an old family secret? Yes, I think so. So anyway, without further ado, I guess we'll have the first glorious entrance where Vanessa doesn't understand why Anatole hasn't shown up yet. He should be there by now.
I cannot understand why he has not arrived yet. Has no message come? They left the village at dawn. Perhaps they stopped on their way to let the storm die down. And Carl should know the road blindfolded. I shall have him dismissed if they are lost. The snow is so deep, it is hard on the horses. I shall die if anything happens to him. My heart, I can wait no longer. You have not eaten today. I shall not until he comes. My heart. We don't need to see your heart. I cannot wait any longer.
So she's obviously very upset, and she would like Anatole to come right now. And he's on the way, obviously. Erica quite reasonably pointing out that it's storming, it's going to take a little while. And so Erica's idea is to calm her aunt down. Why don't I read to you? Oh yes, that would be lovely, fine. And so what does she pick to read? Oedipus. Bless you. Oedipus. Why might that be? And so she reads Oedipus, and it goes something like, woe, woe is me, sorrowful that I am. Where am I? Where am I going? Where am I cast away? And she says, you have no idea how to read. You have never known what love is. What love is she talking about? So that goes on. And then they have more of that, more of the same. And then Erica, possibly in response to the fact that it's another creepy part of this weird opera. There are mirrors, of course. It's an estate. Every estate has mirrors. Oh, but not in this estate. No, no. All the mirrors are covered up. Why? Because she can't bear to see the sight of herself getting older. Yeah. And so everyone has sort of a complex about age in this household. And Erica, sensing that, also doesn't want to get old. And so she sings a song about that.
Must the winter come so soon?
So soon. But lo and behold, actually, I mean, aside from the whole incestuous twist that we can all basically piece together, there's maybe something else that we could say about that. Why this whole creepy family is so weird. Let's just check the drama box. See what. Okay. I have no idea what's in the drama box from night to night. But what I
I learned is that maybe there's another explanation. Maybe it's not just incest, but it could be incest. Maybe the fact is that it is the father, it is Anatole. Anatole is just a vampire, and this is his nest. We don't know. Anyway, so the evening wears on, and eventually, well, what happens? He does show up, and Vanessa, she knows that he's there. The lights are a bit lower. The lights are a bit lower.
I heard you.
And, thank you, Brian. And Anatole finally shows up, or who she thinks is Anatole, or the guest formerly known as Anatole, and hitherto also known as Anatole. And yeah, there's a song that Vanessa sings when he walks in, before she can see his face, before she knows really the truth, or can finally see her lover after so many years, 20 years to be exact. Do not wish to stay.
passionate that after 20 years, the very first thing he should do before even taking off his coat is he should declare his love for her, because that's how she sees the world. It's all in terms of her, isn't it, Vanessa? So she makes her demands. She says, Anatole, don't look at me. Don't even walk in the door until you say that you love me. And he says, well, yes, I'm pretty sure that I will love you. And so she's like, what? Who are you? I don't even recognize you. Then she finally looks a little closer. Ah, I don't know who that is. So she runs away. And Erica's like, well, hey, don't mind her. She's crazy. He's like, I see that. I have heard for years of her craziness and also her beauty from my father. Oh, you're his son. Yes. Okay, well, I'm confused as to why you've come then, and not said that you were actually not the father. Where is he anyway? He is dead. Ah, fascinating. So here we are. The problem is that I have, I'm pretty sure that Vanessa was going to eat dinner with you. She had a big table laid out. Well, let's just eat it ourselves. Take your time, I'm here to wait for you.
Sorry.
There's a €50 surcharge on latecomers. You can give it to Brian when you leave. So what has happened so far, I need all of your attention now because you have a lot to catch up on. It's a lot of opera. So we have this creepy family. There's the grandmother. The mother just left. She had an aria and she's tired. So she was waiting for this guy, but actually it wasn't this guy, it was his father, because the father is dead. So he came without announcing the fact that the father is dead. The problem is that the one who just had an aria, she was really expecting him, the father to come because that was her lover 20 years ago. Oddly enough, this girl here, she's 20 years old, and she's her niece. And so what we've all talked and we've decided that actually what might be going on here is a big incest problem. So it's unclear as to their relationship, as a matter of fact. So you've come just in time. So the issue here is that are they strangers? Are they siblings? Are they half-siblings? It's very unclear. But anyway, there's a big table set for a big romantic dinner between Anatole, who is dead, and Vanessa, who just had an aria and left the room. And they're like, hey, well, let's eat. Sure. And so they go have dinner. And of course, what happens is, I mean, after the curtain goes down and everything, they make sweet, sweet love. And that's kind of the problem, isn't it? So, just take a quick commercial break. The fruit psychic, reading her fruits every night at 8. Please mix it up. Oh! Please mix it up. Hålla pärlbära helvete. Oh! Rosa popataba, halloppa, dammarabbatabata. Oh! Blah, 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 blah. So, before we go on, we've made arrangements to have a little chit-chat with one of the cast members. And of course, if the audience has one particular cast member that they would prefer to hear from, that's your choice, ladies and gentlemen. Just make it known. And green room, set and go. Just find the host here. Just scream it out, ladies and gentlemen, what you want.
The grandma.
The grandma, okay. Someone who likes the olds, huh?
Oh yeah.
I've got a product to sell for you later. So, Grandma. Yes. It's so lovely that you could join us for a little chit-chat here behind the scenes. Oh yes, I'm also quite delighted to be here. So, actually, aside from the silver hair, you are actually looking quite youthful. How old are you actually, if I may ask? Oh, I'm actually 27. But this is a very dramatically challenging role, and of course it's usually cast with a very mature mezzo voice. How is this possible that you were cast for this? Oh, well, there are several reasons, actually. One is that I've completely ruined my voice, and so I don't have much vocal material left. But for me to sing old women's roles, that's perfectly fine. I don't actually need to approximate pitch anymore. I just use a lot of vocal fry, and that seems to do the trick. And the second reason is that I am actually stooping the artistic director. Ah, fascinating. That's how that works. Yes, the casting couch is alive and well, even at this strange little opera. Wonderful. I know the audience would love to see how you prepare for your role. I know that soon you will actually sing something. Yes, my singing part is coming up before I descend into complete silence for the remainder of the opera. Oh, well, maybe we could observe you closely while you warm up. Would that be all right with you? Yeah, I love that. That's great. Sure. Okay, well, I don't know what school of vocalism you subscribe to. Could you maybe tell us a little bit about that? Sure, I use the school of hope and a prayer, which means basically that I just raise my arms when I have a high note and lower them when I do not. And I know that it's necessary to use one's body, but I actually find that to be too much work. I find that if I just visualize a note, it comes. And I have lots of tricks if I'm having an off vocal day. For example, if I imagine an octopus wiggling on a fountain of water, pretty much everything is fixed and it just lines right up. And if it doesn't, then I imagine maybe like the small dwarves on the ground that I'm hitting. This is also a really big one. And if none of that works, then I call my teacher and we Skype for 3 hours, and I cry, and then she puts me back in shape, and then I sing a performance, and I have no idea how she actually got me to do that. So that's pretty much, that's how I prepare. You've actually just witnessed that. Wonderful. It's so wonderful to get a view into how things work under the opera. Thanks so much. So the green room is closed now, and so what we have here is a scene involving some domestic life. It's about 3 months later, and it's winter. It's very close to Christmas, so there are lots of trees covered in snow, and they have an ice rink. Actually, it's just a pond, but they love it very much. And that'll come in just a moment. But first, everyone's hanging out. The doctor has also shown up, as he always does. He's just there to drink their Chateau Neuf du Pape, which he does quite enthusiastically. And everyone's just kind of there watching, and Vanessa and Erica and the grandmother. Where's that old hag? She is. Sometimes they have to sit next to each other on the couch. It's a very exclusive mansion, but they only have one couch. It's the best couch. It's made of silk and unicorn fur. And so Erica is sort of watching, and she's developed a thing for not Anatole, who, for the purposes of just making it a lot simpler, we'll just call him Anatole because that's what the libretto does. So he's Anatole also, and the doctor is here, and he's wasted, and he sings a song.
Under the willow tree, two doves cry, two doves cry. Under the willow tree, two doves cry. Ah, where shall we sleep, my love? Whither shall we fly? Where shall we sleep, my love? Whither shall we fly? The wood has followed the moon, the fog has swallowed the shore, the green toad has swallowed the key to my door.
Yeah, so that's the song he sings. And after that, he has his little dance. And not Anatole walks in and he says, "That's so charming, your words and your gestures and your ways. I wish that I could dance as lovely as you do." And he says, "Ah, my boy, let me show you, let's just hold hands and dance." Which is very awkward. There's really no reason for this scene, but here it is. And Anatole is a terrible dancer. And the doctor is quite frustrated and flustered by the fact that he's such a terrible dancer. And then maybe we actually have a reason why the doctor hasn't made his move on anybody, but we're not sure, I don't know. But then, so the doctor says, "Oh my boy, what are they teaching you these days in school?" And Anatole's like, And then he's like, "Well, let's play some chess." And he's like, "I don't play chess." And he's like, "Man, what is with kids today?" And scene. So then the doctor is busy drinking over here, and then, then there's a skating scene, which goes like this. Oh, Anatole, yes, I would be delighted to go skating with you. Let's put on our skates and go outside and do that. So, just in the interest of compression of time, I'll just show you sort of what that was like. So, here we are at the skating pond. So wonderful, it's so delightful. Oh yes, it is, isn't it? Oh, it's time for me to make my move. I feel that it's almost Christmas and I should be leaving soon, but I don't want to leave. I want to stay and be master of the house, which is quite, it's not really so clear what he means by that, but of course Vanessa decides, oh, does that mean that you love me? And there's no answer there, but she assumes yes. And so, we also, by the way, don't know about the whole situation with his finances or anything like that, because he even came in her carriage. So it's all very unclear. But suffice to say, oh, I feel so delightful. Oh, I feel so young again. I feel like I've lost 3 years. Ah, yes, I am also so happy. It's wonderful. So they're off being delightful. And Vanessa is like, what the fuck? Are you kidding me? This asshole, he was with me and now he's with my aunt. This is outrageous. And the grandmother has a few things to say about it as well. But of course they do it in song. And there it is.
Did you hear her? You must speak out, or you will lose him. It is love I want, and not his capture. Even for love, one must fight. Should he not fight for mine, Vanessa or I? It is all the same to him. He saw your money before he met your eyes. And still, the way he kissed that night. How can I forget those kisses? Tell me, grandmother, what kind of a man is he? He is the man of today. He only sees what is offered him. He will choose what is easier. Why waste my time with him then, when I am dying of love? Help! Save me from their talk! Between a doctor and a minister, a man will lose both body and soul. Anatole, I must speak to you. What is it then? She knows everything, don't worry about her. You aren't here. You're also not here. Is it true what you said to Vanessa this morning? This morning? For God's sake, stop lying! Aha! The little Sphinx begins to clamor for her answers. I have the right to claim them. Have you not told me I am free? Listen to him, Erica. Of course. Be patient with him. I shall not bind you if you are not bound by memories. How could I forget that night? That night? The night that made you since so dark and bitter. What has become of you since then? Careful, Erica. I have not been silent. I asked you before, and now. Be careful, he will leave you. With your grandmother as witness, I ask you again. Will you marry me? Very frustrating. Everyone's very frustrated. It's very difficult. Very, very frustrating. And she has to have a good think about that. Meanwhile, it's time for church, because it's always time for church, because if you have opera, you also have religion. And the two go hand in hand. And so they've all gone to church, to Mass. And even the grandmother has gone to Mass. And Erica. Oh wait, Erica has a very dramatic scene where she contemplates what her answer actually would be.
agitated. The reason for this is that she realizes that she's pregnant. She doesn't know what to do. She definitely loves him, but she doesn't want to just say yes just because he asked. She wants him to really, 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 really love her. She listens to the church at the window. She lifts up the curtain on the... She imagines what her aunt went through. And she decides, no! I will not marry you, you asshole! So the curtain closes. And... Granny sex. Do you want to make party with Granny? Cards 188. Grand sex. Granny's waiting for you. Get it on with Grandma. Rubbing ointment. Helps my agita. I'm so excited. So, as I mentioned earlier, ladies and gentlemen, if you'd like to order any of our products, please talk to Brian after the show. Thank you. And so, the third act. But you know what? You know what's missing? Everybody? What do you think is missing? No idea? I'll tell you. Christmas spirit. Let's have some Christmas spirit. now. Oh, it's really good. All right, Brian. I feel a lot looser now. I think the next scene, I'll have lots of really low notes. Are you ready? 1, 2, 3! Oh, there they are at the mansion in America, England. And the doctor, well, he's drunk and they're having a party. What kind of party are they having, you ask? Well, they're having an engagement party. Yes, indeed. They are, in fact, having an engagement party. All the mirrors are still covered. Erica is still pregnant. Anatole is still, doing whatever Anatole does. And Vanessa is just beyond belief with joy and happiness. And they're all busy greeting their guests. It's the first party that she's had in a very long time. She's not been entertaining very much because she's been hiding off aging, which is something really worth hiding. And so meanwhile, all the guests are there. They've all arrived. And, oh, in fact, here they come now. I see them in all their engagement party finery, enjoying the party as much as we all are. And Erica and her grandmother, actually, they're not even coming down for the engagement party. Nobody knows why. But for now, the doctor is drunk and talking to the help, which is only something that you should do when you're really drunk. And he sings another song, and here it is.
I should never have been a doctor, Nicholas, a gentleman, a poet, that's what I am, a naked body. What is it to a doctor? We see them every day. But under a chandelier, with the right music, the right perfume, a naked arm, a shoulder, oh God, I lose my mind.
And so he sang the song, and everyone is about to gather. There's going to soon be the announcement of the engagement, which the doctor is going to be performing. And the guests are all a Twitter. The doctor has been asked, actually before he comes down, if he would maybe go see what's wrong with Erica, because something seems to be bothering her. Nobody is really sure why, but something is definitely amiss with her. Brian, could you help me out with a little AV? We have a video to show. So, the problem is really that the grandmother is avoiding talking to Vanessa anyway, but now she's super duper upset because she probably, we're just guessing, we're just speculating here, is she guesses that this is actually maybe her son, that's her son, because Anatole, the father Anatole, vanished very suddenly 20 years ago. They were having a splendid affair, and through conversation, as not Anatole has been there, we've learned that the father was constantly talking very fondly of Vanessa. There wasn't really a good reason for them to have split up, or why didn't they get married? They were in love, it was great. So the grandmother knows why, because maybe the real Anatole, the father Anatole, was also related to everybody. So maybe she and her brother had this guy, and now they're going to get married. Because remember, they read Oedipus early in the opera. So they're going to get married now. The grandmother is totally upset. She was upset in the first place because there was some boinking going on between family members. And now they're getting married. She doesn't even know what to do. She's basically catatonic already. And so she refuses to come down and acknowledge this sham engagement. And Erica refuses to come down because she's pregnant by the guy who is about to marry her aunt. So it's very distressing, everything. And there's a little bit of singing.
What is there I do not know? Could I have been wrong for 20 years?
She suspects something
Is
is
there
wrong.
something you have not told me? Anatole. Love has a bitter core, Vanessa. Do not taste too deep, Vanessa. Do not search into the past. He who hungers for the past will be fed on light.
Yeah, so how that goes is love, she's very suspicious and she wants to know what she's missing. That would be the thing that everyone told her, which is that that's not Anatole, but she doesn't want to hear that truth. So she's asking what else she doesn't know. And she suspects probably that it has something to do with this one here. But she doesn't want to see that either. So anyway, all this is going on, and meanwhile, they're having their duet there about love and how bitter love is, which is a really great way to start a marriage. And Vanessa is kind of, the party's getting going, and Vanessa is at the top of the staircase. She wants to come down, but she's actually not feeling very well. And, well, maybe the reason for that is because the baby is a product of incest. Of course she's not going to be feeling very well. There's something wrong with it. And so it's not a very healthy pregnancy. And yeah, so that goes on. And then they have the party. And there's lots of dancing. Lots of dancing. They've sorted out all the problems that they had. But meanwhile, Vanessa comes down the stairs up here, and she, something's wrong.
Silence, everybody, silence, please. Ladies and gentlemen, I have the great honor as an old friend of this noble and distinguished family, which for many years has been a shining example to all of us of what is the finest in the traditions of our country, to announce the engagement of our dear Baroness of Vanessa.
And this is too much, and Vanessa falls down, and she falls down, and falls down the stairs, and she's hurt herself, but instead of getting help, she decides she's gonna run to the lake. So she runs. And she runs to the lake. But nobody can find her. Nobody knows where she is. She's hiding. They send out lots of search parties. And they don't know. They're all looking. Of course, the people that would seem to care the most about her, they don't bother to look. They let everyone else go find her. Where is she? We're looking for Erica. We have no idea where she is. We're searching. And day passes into night, night passes into day, and finally they find her. And they carry her in. And she comes in, carried by several men. And they lay her into a bed, which is over here, and they ask, "Why, Erica? What's wrong? Why did you run off in the middle of a wedding to go do sports or whatever? What were you even doing?" And Erica won't talk to anybody. She feels terrible. They found blood on her clothing, and so they're pretty sure that she just hit herself somewhere. And she refuses to see everyone. She refuses to see Anatole. She refuses to see Vanessa. And she won't talk to the doctor. The only person she'll talk to is grandmother. And grandmother comes in. She's very concerned because she still loves Erica. Erica can't help being born as a product of incest. "Oh, Erica, why did you do it? Why did you try to hurt yourself?" Because grandmother knows that she was trying to hurt herself. And Erica says, "Because I was pregnant with his child." Well, grandmother slowly turns away and slowly leaves the room and never says a word to anyone ever again. Yeah, that would be basically the opera, but of course we have to tie up some loose ends. Time goes by, and Erica is feeling much better after her miscarriage, which was probably best for everyone, especially if it was a vampire. Nobody wants that kind of thing hanging around. The mirrors, here's another big clue. Mirrors all covered. Why? Because vampire. So the mirrors are still covered. No, actually they're not covered. Right now they're okay. And Vanessa and Anatole, it's almost over. It's almost over. It's hanging a little longer. So then they have decided, we are leaving. I am never coming back to this house ever again. And we are going to be happy forever. And Anatole says, yeah, mission accomplished. The house is now mine. And I probably will come back and I will get you, young lady. But he doesn't say it that way. And she's happy beyond belief. She says, oh, let's let bygones be bygones. Let's just be happy for each other. Erica's like, sure, bitch, whatever. And she tries to muster up all the happiness she can. I mean, she never smiles anyway, but now she's extra unsmiley. Grandmother doesn't say anything, she could care less. So happily they leave. Da, 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 happy to be in their lives together as vampire and host. And Erica, in a sad epilogue, walks over to the mirror and looks into them and dramatically covers them all up again and commands the servants to do the same of all the other mirrors. And she says, now it's my turn to wait. The end. That's really the end, you guys.